What if I told you the Chicago Bears might be standing on the brink of something explosive? Picture this: a fourth-round wide receiver on the chopping block, a multi-million-dollar contract feeling heavier than a brick, and a 36-year-old veteran, potentially changing the game. Chicago, are you ready for this? It's cutthroat up in Hollis Hall as we're barely into training camp. Whispers in the wind hint at players like Tyler Scott and Olamide Zaccheaus teetering on the edge. And insiders are buzzing about whether the Bears are finally learning from past mistakes or just repeating history with a fresh coat of paint. And let's be real, every single Bears fan feels that cold dread hang in the air like an approaching storm. The question looms like a heavy fog over the lake. Are we prepared for yet another heartbreak? So, if you've got your Bears pride on and can't get enough of this inside scoop, hit that like button. Subscribe to Bears News Fan Report for every post-pounding update. And let us know in the comments how you're feeling about these wild moves. Because here's the cold, hard truth, friend. Tyler Scott feels like the latest casualty in a line of missteps. Hype surrounded this kid as a speedy game changer, a dynamic playmaker for our offense. But another season is slipping through our fingers, and he still only got 17 receptions and a paltry 168 yards to show for it. Now, according to our insider Kirsten Tannis, it's looking bleak for him making that final 53-man roster. It's hard to argue when we've seen this before. Remember Anthony Miller or Kevin White? The franchise's history with wide receivers is cruel. And amidst all this drama, there's Olamide Zaccheaus quietly waiting in the shadows, potentially lining up on the trade radar before he even gets a chance to rep that navy and orange. Here's a guy you thought would bring consistency to the TA. Group a reliable target who has proven himself in previous roles, and yet, like an outsider in his own locker room, he might be shown the door. The man barely gets a warm welcome before he's on the trade block because, let's face it, competence seems to be a luxury in our WR room. DJ Moore, Rome Odin, and Luther Burden III hold the spotlight, leaving Zaccheaus dangling like a noose above a potential critical mistake. Picture this: the Cleveland Browns, desperate for a half-decent wideout, eyeing him as their salvation. And it's not even his fault. He's had his shines of glory, racking up over 500 yards with a catch rate that would make a gambling man scrape his neck. But hey, logic in the NFL. It's as fleeting as the wind coming off Lake Michigan, and we both know it. Could we see a trade happen that would strip the Bears of another valuable piece, leaving us with the painful memories of what could have been? And if Zaccheaus walks, what then, Bears fans? We're left staring into the abyss with a multi-million-dollar running back whose future looks murkier than ever. Yes, I'm talking about DeAndre Swift. The $24 million question sits curtly on his shoulders as he gears up for training camp. Swift arrived ready to bring that explosive edge, a game changer, or so we thought. But hold on tight. His last season was a nightmare. Under 4 yards a carry, he didn't even brush past 1,000 total yards. We're talking about a player who was supposed to be our offensive spark floundering at the critical moments. Now, behind him lurks the fierce competition Roschon Johnson and the under-the-radar gem Kyle Monangai, eager to snatch that starting role. And they're not just waiting for a chance. They're hungry. Swift must know the stakes every moment counts in Chicago. If he falters, it could be lights out for his role as the Bears' top running back. So here we stand at a crossroads, a chance for real change, or do we slip into that familiar cycle of promising talent slipping through our fingers? The tension is thick. The stakes couldn't be higher. And sure, we're all yearning for a new era. But will we get stuck in the past because we can't let go? Come on, Chicago. Ask yourselves, are we positioned for greatness, or are we just playing house while the storm rumbles on? The weight of these decisions is immense, and as the dust settles, the unknown looms larger than ever. What's the Bears' move going to be, championship caliber or same old heartbreak? The real question is, can we survive another blow, or will we finally shake things up like we've always dreamed? Keep your eyes peeled, because this training camp is shaping up to be one wild ride. And it's only just heating up. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Feel it coursing through your veins, the pulse of the Windy City, where every exhale is a breath of hope, every shout a howl of resilience, and every game day transforms into a battleground where legends could be born anew. But as our mighty franchise stands at a crossroads, the whispers echoing through Hollis Hall have grown louder, and it's time we consider the turmoil swirling beneath the surface. What if, behind the smiles and handshakes, there's tension simmering between our coaching staff and the players, a subtle schism that could shatter the very foundation of this season's ambitions? Imagine a locker room divided, players no longer trusting the man calling the shots. What havoc that could wreak on the field come December, when temperatures drop and every inch of turf can turn into a battlefield. But here's the thing, the NFC North is not a forgiving division. With the explosive Packers constantly scheming for supremacy and the Vikings only a game away from playoff contention, we cannot afford to fracture now. For every daring decision made by our front office, will it unify the squad or sow chaos? As teammates point fingers in desperate moments? Just think about it. If this season starts piling up losses due to internal discord, who will bear the brunt of that blame come the postseason? Coaching staff or players? Look back through the ages, remember Bucky's ferocious growl, amplifying the resolve of those around him. The blood and sweat shed by Singletary and Ehrlicher, paving the way for a fierce legacy, not just built on victories, but on brotherhood and trust. Let's channel that 1985 spirit. It's emblazoned in our hearts. The thrill of that championship is like an echo heard through foggy winter nights by the lakefront, a reminder of what's possible. We tasted that glory again in 06, felt that heartbreak in 10, and relived it in 18 each time, teetering on the brink of greatness but falling just short. Now is the time to transform that aching into fuel for fierce resolution. Each one of us Bears fans holds the weight of our storied past on our shoulders. There's a legacy that challenges us to rise up. But the road ahead glimmers with uncertainty. What happens if the fracture in the secondary widens due to poor communication? Who's ready to pick up the shards when we face an offense that smells blood and zeroes in? Should this gamble for glory explode, how will the season end for our beloved Bears? Terrifying thoughts spiral through our minds, daunting images of empty celebrations and unanswered hopes, as those internal fractures could lead to a season of despair instead of the redemption we desperately crave. The stakes have never been higher. If we let indecision fester, will our resilience bend or will it break? We all want the roar of triumph piercing through the din of the Lollapalooza crowd, the cheers resonating past the steel-hard resolves echoing through the streets of Chicago. But what will happen if we don't find our way together? Picture the scene, cold wind cutting through, steel gray clouds looming above. Just like that, our dreams can be swept away, leaving us within the fog of doubt. As the first whistle blows this season, will we find ourselves united, hearts racing, and spirits soaring, or will fear and discord dictate our fate? Because let me tell you, it's not just another season hanging in the balance. It's a future generations will remember. Will they say we stood tall or cowered away? As we dissect the matchups, re-watch the heartbreaking final drives, and try to predict how far our boys can go, one question tells it all. Will we lead the charge in the battle as a team, or will shadows of discontent loom massive across Soldier Field, leaving every fan to wonder what could have been? The moment of reckoning approaches. Smash that like if your heart's pounding, because we're standing at the edge, ready to leap into the unknown, adorned in our navy and orange. Comment now if you're ready to bleed these colors, because the true spirit of the Bears isn't just a reflection of the past. It's a force that demands to unite us all, a catalyst for a future dripping with the pride of our storied heritage.